Historically, Africa has been poor and has had limited influence on the world stage. However, by 2100, this situation has dramatically reversed. The continent has become a global superpower and a force to reckon with. In this video, we will explore the key milestones, challenges, and opportunities that paved the way for Africa's success and examine what we can learn from this remarkable achievement. So, without further delay, let us delve into Africa's rise. Post-independence movement. After its colonization and subjugation by foreign powers, independence movements took place in Africa in the post-World War II period. Devastating famines racked the continent in the late 20th century, combined with political, economic, and humanitarian catastrophes, limiting its progress. Economic improvements and democracy. Africa's economy improved in the early 21st century, in parallel with democracy and the rule of law spreading to more of its countries. Governments began to crack down on corruption and patronage, while macroeconomic growth plans aimed at improving living conditions came to fruition. Millions of Africans flocked to cities in search of jobs and other amenities. Foreign investment. Meanwhile, foreign investors poured vast sums of money into Africa, with China being the biggest contributor, seeking to extract the continent's abundant metals, minerals, fossil fuels, and other resources. This occurred alongside the building of new ports, roads, pipelines, and other infrastructure. Africa received further support and development from initiatives such as the UN's Sustainable Development Goals for 2030, Continental Growth. Other milestones around this time included the expansion of its free trade agreements, the introduction of a single African currency, and the building of a transcontinental road and rail network to all corners of the continent. In the 2040s, many more African nations achieved economic diversification, enabling them to attract foreign investment in new areas. Environmental restoration and sustainable practices. This decade saw ecological restoration efforts completed in the Niger Delta and the final clearing of landmines in countries such as Angola, adding a further boost to social and economic development. Africa worked to modernize its agriculture with more sustainable practices and a variety of new technological approaches. The introduction of next-generation genetically modified crops proved to be one of the biggest success stories. Climate change adaptation. Africa faced severe environmental challenges, being among the regions most vulnerable to climate change. Higher temperatures, changing rainfall patterns, drought, and increased climate variability threatened to derail economic and human development. Africa had to adapt and implement sustainable solutions such as rooftop and vertical farming and revegetating vast areas of uninhabited desert. Population growth and improved health. Improvements in education, economic opportunity, living standards, and medicine transformed much of Africa, with child mortality declining to negligible levels in many countries. By 2050, the average life expectancy in Africa had reached 70. Africa's population stood at 2.5 billion, 2.5 times the number in 2009, and continued to rise. Geopolitical influence. Africa entered the 22nd century as a stronger, more confident, independent, and geopolitically influential player. 13 of the 20 largest cities in the world are African, up from just 3 in 2020. The most populous of all is Lagos, Nigeria, which has swelled from 7.3 million a century earlier to more than 88 million now, a 12-fold increase. Economic growth. The gross domestic product, GDP, per capita for sub-Saharan Africa stood at just $1,323 in 1950. By 2100, the average person in sub-Saharan Africa can expect to earn almost $10,000, 5 times more than a century earlier. A few of the richer nations have GDPs per capita exceeding $50,000 and comparable to a Western income circa 2020. In conclusion, Africa's rise to a global superpower by 2100 is a remarkable achievement that should inspire us all. It shows us that with the right leadership, vision, and determination, anything is possible. As we face the challenges of the 21st century and beyond, let us take inspiration from Africa's story and work together to build a better future for all. That's all for this video. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay informed about future videos. Until then, take care. Thank you for watching.